which is wild to say. That's yeah, this has been a region who has been at the top for this year, last year, quite some time, and let's see if it's going to slow down anytime soon.
They instantly dip dyrachyo as soon as they get into the game. Also, his positioning going to get popped a little bit, maybe expecting that he might be holding an observer ward, but who honestly expects the Faceless Void to be the one holding that sort of thing? So Quinn looks like he should still be able to get his off. Also, I was playing a little bit of Muerta there on the Lina. Wonder if is there any confusion there between the two? I want a prediction out of you.
I don't know. I feel like
30 seconds to battle.
I think gaming are more consistent and Talon are more volatile, and I think they have a lineup that is very hit or miss.
Are they going to hit or are they going to miss? Call it.
That's the big question. It's a big question.
What is the big answer? Answer the question.
I think gaming will hit this game.
All right. You're just a Western Europe enjoyer.
What the hell?
A region betrayer, that's what you are.
I'm not a region betrayer.
The battle begins.
I'm a Dota enjoyer, and hopefully we get just as crazy for game 3 as we did prior. Nothing too crazy to start. We had 2 for 2 in the bounties. I'm glad we get a bit of a different dynamic in the mid lane. There's no more invokers that we have to worry about.
No more
There's
Pango, that's the big one, man. Come on.
Good to see him on the ban list for a little bit. Yeah, so let's see what QQ is going to be up to his shenanigans, of course, with the fissures, just to be able to hopefully get this creep wave under the tower. dyrachyo is going to make sure he meets the wave to, I mean, it's very difficult to be able to drag it out regardless, so this will help out a lot with Talon's equilibrium. But really, I want to see how mid lane goes. Lina is such a dominant hero in this lane. What can Mikoto do with the tree throw early?
I mean, it really just does come down to the skill element, doesn't it? Of course, Quinn, one of the better skilled players, but Mikoto has been carrying the torch for SEA for quite some time. A little sad we haven't, I think he's played it once alongside the Pugner, but we haven't gotten to see too much Mikoto Storm Spirit coming out yet. Basically solo carrying Boom when he was back as a member of that roster.
He's been best mid laner for quite some time in C, right? I mean, Armel hasn't.
I think he's been the most improved player overall this entire year.
I mean, this boy is looking incredible when he can get online and when he's got the confidence as well to be able to make those plays. He is a very scary person to verse.
Oh, for sure.
How do we feel like this top lane's going to go? I mean, Jakiro is a support we really haven't seen in quite some time, but it's very similar to the Undying where you are a super strong laner. And we saw previously, like Talon, so far they have had some concerns. Game 1 in particular with Jabz as Wraith King wasn't able to get off to a good start. Do we think he can this game with the Dawnbreaker Earthshaker lane?
I think dyrachyo can get off to a pretty nice lane. I think it's really just going to be on the back of Seleri, right? We saw that he went the Liquid Fire level 1, just wanted a lot of free harass coming out there, and you never really want to be pushing the wave all that much against the Dawnbreaker. That's where you can get punished and start potentially feeding away for those first bloods.
Oh, Quinn, you're so annoying.
That's the strength of the leader, man. What can you do? Can you do? Also, just wondering what the item build is going to be like on Mikoto, but I think both you and I agree that.
Seleri, yeah, in some danger with the fissure placement. Jabz is going to be able to land the Starbreaker, and this will be our first blood. And dyrachyo, we force the time walk away. So Talon strike first in our final game.
Just having enough regen as well to be able to withstand themselves, and we've got a salve coming out here on the bottom side. This will be much more passive coming out from Talon, right? 23 Savage. He knows that there really isn't too much kill threat happening down here, and that's the one area that I'm a little worried about for Talon, right? Of course, late game morphling, scary as hell, especially considering all of the heroes that you have the potential to morph into. But the thing is, like, Spirit Breaker at this really early timing is super scary, and we've seen how effective tOfu can be on the Muerta. Not going for just one cookie cutter item build, he really has that true ability to be able to flex so that no matter what the game requires, he's just going to be able to pick up what he needs. And I would have to assume that this game is probably going to be something along the lines of the Spirit Vessel, right? up against the Morphling feels pretty good. Able to have that percent damage. Same sort of thing with the Dawn, both for her high HP as well as healing, and it's a core tiny as well. Even just the potential to layer it in onto an Earthshaker and prevent any sort of blink re-initiation coming through.
Yeah,
really well in this mid lane. Really well.
It's just the lane I was going to highlight. Top lane dyrachyo, he's going to be chilling. So yeah, the no armor on Mikoto is proving to be a little bit of an issue at the moment. With some of the spells he can spam to be able to get the fiery soul charges. Not going to be able to get another water rune as well, which is very important in regards to how he's going to be able to play this fine line in the resource spam in the mid lane. So we'll need to eventually start to see some supports looking at rotating. Of course, Q hasn't even thought about that just yet with wanting to try and secure Jabz' lane.
I mean, he's trying to secure the lane, but this is the thing, right? Look, have a look up on the top side with Q. He's basically needing to put his body on the line. He doesn't even get the block. It's a half pull, probably the best thing that they could have asked for on Gaimin Gladiators. And you don't really feel all that confident with leaving Jabz up here solo as well, considering the fact that the hard camp is still blocked. So if he, you know, maybe if he was able to pull that camp and get it right back next to the tower, you could make this sort of movement. But without that, the possibility just isn't there.
Yeah, and you see, as a result, Mikoto, he's going to have to go all the way back to base because of the spam from Quinn. So you kind of pick this, you have a chance to respond to the leaner. So his last hits are okay, but Quinn is starting to get a little bit more out of control in that area. And all the other lanes are going quite well for Gaimin Gladiators too.
Only Savage, Grandmaster on the Morphling, having a pretty decent start to this one. As expected. Might have even just seen them go down and place an Observer Ward there on the bottom side with the Observer that just expired. You can see tOfu starting to make the movement towards there. Able to take that one out. There we go. Seleri instant D-Ward. Very nicely done. Also, just understanding that this is the period of time when that siege creep is starting to come along too. So the fact that they've been able to pull this wave might not be the best. It'll be a little bit of damage being pumped into this tower and a full wraparound coming from the Jakiro here.
What a scary position for them. It's going to be able to bounce them back into the Phantoms. Great positioning out of the Spirit Breaker charge. And Q's going to come down, but what can he really do with this rotation? Maybe Seleri is in some trouble.
Nah, no damage. No mana on Ollie. There's no chance.
Should be able to go through the portal. They're going to go for kills instead. Why not? They see some freebies and they'll be rewarded. A great rotation through the portal from Seleri. You deal with the ward, you stick around, get a couple of big kills. Meanwhile, you do not have to worry.
Almost half damage done to that tier 1 tower as well, just with how long and when they made that play. Siege creep coming in. This is a really, really good early game from Gaimin Gladiators, and honestly what they needed, right? We know how scary a late game Morphling can be. Then again, so can a Faceless Void. But, I mean, I feel like a core Tiny is probably one of the better heroes at being able to address these heroes that all they need is a couple of seconds to get off their full kit of spells, whether it be, you know, Time Walk for safety or aggressively plus the Chronosphere, or the new Lina build, which is much more inclined to be that magic-oriented style with the Laguna Blade.
I'm just really concerned now on what Talon's going to be able to do with their supports to secure the side lanes, because now you're going to have both Seleri along with tOfu rotating. Quinn's always going to have the potential if he wants to. You probably don't even need him just with how strong the cores are with their kill threat. And you compare that to an Earthshaker, compare it to a Shadow Demon, it is very limited.
Yeah. And speaking of the Earthshaker and the Shadow Demon, I'm not seeing any stacks starting to be built up as well. So this is the sort of thing that both they're not amazing at taking it on Talon, but they do have the potential. It's not like they're completely incapable of taking stacks with all three of their cores.
That's, again... Sorry, you go.
I was just about to say, like, one thing that I was going to mention was you and I, we cast a lot of Eastern European Dota, right? And we saw, as Mikoto, is he looking to make a play happen? Not quite. GPK, one of the best Tinies in the world, and his item build is like the power treads, then into the Blink Dagger and starting to scale off the back of that. Mikoto, as he looks to go for a kill, gets dead shotted back with the haste root, so he gets the hell out of there. He's gone for the phase boots route, so this is much more of like, less of a farming build, more of a kill build.
This Phantom placement. Solar Guardian's going to be in the fish. It's a little bit awkward though. Jabz is on the other side, but Mikoto will struggle to follow up. Dude, everyone from Gladiators recognize the importance of this fight. dyrachyo is ready with the chrono, but the instant Delta split away from Talon, he'll still get an opportunity to use it onto the offlaner. But now 23 Savage, he's ready to go for the 10v10. They should be able to deal with tOfu. Gotta be cautious. Q's gonna be able to buy him some time. Attribute shift at the ready, so Savage will not be blown up.
It's just that level 1 of the time dilation. So lasted the 8 seconds, the one that was stolen over as dyrachyo. He's gonna have to take the illusion rune. Nice little turnaround though by Talon, getting a little bit lucky.
Sorry. I was watching the illusions just chase down Q to try and pop the clarity.
The real important things. No, I completely understand. With the Solar Guardian coming in, I was expecting that to be able to land in the middle of the ice path that Seleri had laid down, but somehow it just lands slightly off to the side, and because of that, you get the additional little bit of damage that ends up being the end of Quinn.
And double Midas has been worked on for Gladiators. Ace is so farmed and potentially going to be rewarded with another kill. Savage blown up from 4 to 0. Mid lane now though. Are they not even going to have the damage? You serious? Ace everywhere across the map with the early Spirit Breaker involvement. Ollie will get the kill onto Seleri, but this is getting to some dangerous territory already with the fact that they are 2k ahead, and you're going to have a great Midas timing on dyrachyo along with Ace.
Yep, you will indeed. And again, I've said it time and time again, all you need is level 9 on the Spirit Breaker, and he's already 7.5, pre-10 minutes. Is this another kill? Oh, perfect. Oh, can't walk through it though. Oh, the calling, just doing that damage to be able to take him out. That's a ridiculously farmed Spirit Breaker.
And it's going to be Quinn as well, who's ridiculously farmed after the kill onto Q. Ollie, nothing he can really do. We'll chuck out a banishment, but it does not matter. And you are in dire straits now for Talon. You desperately need to somehow get kills onto Mikoto's Tiny.
That's the thing I was mentioning before, right? If you choose to go this phase boots instead of the power treads and don't opt for something that, sure, you're still rushing the Blink Dagger, but something that's going to allow you to rush that Blink Dagger a little quicker, and then eventually, when you're getting into your next items, whether it be crit, Aghanim Scepter, whatever it might be, it just feels like...
they're just baiting Jabz. He's gone a step too far, and they're going to be able to get the kill onto the Dawnbreaker. They might even get Earthshaker as well. Once again, tOfu spellcasting. Such pivotal factor of them being able to...
Muerta, man. You have to. Like, he's just way too good.
3, 1, and 4. Pretty much the exact same start we saw from him in game 1. So he's going to be able to itemize accordingly with whatever is required out of him in this game.
Mikoto at least is relishing this small amount of time that he's got solo in the mid lane. Put a little bit of pressure on that tier 1 tower as well.
This is a gigantic kill. I think he does, especially with Ola here. That is a much needed kill. Savage able to bring down Ace, who was off to an incredible start this game on the offlane Spirit Breaker.
Just slow him down whenever possible. It really feels like it's about the time that he's going to start becoming a bit more of a menace, right? You can look to play a little bit more team fight oriented now on the Spirit Breaker, considering you've finished up that Midas. You're always going to have that little bit of a recovery mechanism and just target Mikoto, basically. Like, he does not have his Blink Dagger yet. He's still running around, not too much active net worth that he's looking to play around with. And if you can just look to hinder that further and further, it means that the Faceless Void gets more usages out of the Midas. The Faceless Void gets to start building into his farm. I've seen that's exactly where the targets are coming mid once again.
There's a double LSA, and now they're going to get Mikoto as well.
Yeah.
And it's the same recipe always. Gladiators, so much emphasis on securing power runes. Talon only bring 2. And they're going to be punished for that. If you're going to go for these runes, you need to bring more members.
Yeah. Tale as old as time. Gaimin Gladiators playing around those power runes, and for a good reason. We saw, granted, he's got the hero for it, but Quinn able to outskill Mikoto in the laning stage. Really, they're just doing everything to make sure that that continues into this early mid-game. 4K net worth advantage. Savage, at least, has been given the role to be able to carry this game with this late pick Morphling, but I'm still a little scared about their prospects moving forward. You need that initiation, you need that damage output coming from Jabz, and he's gone a little bit more conservative with his items. Not the highest net worth, and just a couple of braces so that he at least survives that little bit further.
Yeah, and that means he's going to have a difficult time at scaling, so we might not see like that Echo Saber Deso. Might have to look at the blade mail. There is a decent chunk of uncontrollable damage from Gladiators. See what the decision's going to be for the offlane Dawnbreaker. You need to also eventually consider about how you give Q a lane. So he's going to need a blink as well. Only level 6, 13 minutes in.
Might be around the time that Mikoto is looking to try and start making some of these plays, right? He's getting close towards the Blink Dagger for himself, 250 gold away. Maybe that's the sort of time that you, alongside the Shadow Demon with the Disseminate plus the Dawnbreaker, is able to make a lot of these kills happen.
Tower is under attack.
Well, they've not worked the attempt. Replicating Gaimin Gladiators play. If they're not quick though, Dire's gonna smoke and go through the portal.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect because dyrachyo has the boys surely, and if they group up for the chrono, this could be devastating. Jabz, he's just going to run up and meet them all, and you can't take a fight here with the calling. It's going to be disastrous. They'll still try though. tOfu's falling low. All the AoE control proving to be an issue. Jabz tries to get the ultimate off, but just to no avail. And they just are all mincemeat running into the grinders. Now Gaimin Gladiators, they'll find Ollie as well in no man's land. Savage considers about showing up, but he is far too late.
I feel like that's the sort of play that you make when you've got the 5k advantage, not when you're playing from behind, right? It just felt a little bit slow. You know how much emphasis Gaimin Gladiators put on specifically this twin gate area control. We saw it 5 minutes in the laning stage, and we saw it right then. Really nice play, good coordination coming through. I'm a little surprised with how long Jabz was able to survive through that one, to be honest. Eventually started channeling the Solar Guardian, but ran out of juice at the very end.
Mikoto again might die. Another shot to the face.
Got the Blink Dagger.
Such a delayed blink timing from Mikoto. Again, this hero is so volatile. You see the Lina matchup, and you pick it right into it. You have the confidence to be able to pull it out, but 4 deaths to start the game. And this is a hero that you need to snowball. There is just no other way around it. If this hero is going to be able to scale, going to have a good mid game, you need to be getting kills. He has his blink now, so see what he can do with it though.
Q's fishes have been pretty on point as well. I mean, I think that's something that we do need to highlight from Talon's perspective, that they're doing the best with the situation that's been given to them, but it's just not enough, right? You need to give him a little bit of this extra farm, and he's getting it up on this top side. It's a ballsy play. He's sitting that far forward, and someone needs to be given up for it, and it looks like it's going to be Ollie.
7,000 net worth lead at the 16-minute mark, and it is not going to stop anytime soon. Gaimin Gladiators firm control. Should set up whatever they would like it. Abilities at the ready just in case a fight breaks out for Talon. What is the play going to be? I mean, you've got a pretty nice ward deep inside the north jungle. Maybe you smoke, try and connect there.
Radiant's middle tower
Kind of gets lucky. The fact that there's a bounty rune up on this top-hand side, he should pop it. I mean, that's the difference between having and not having the Blink Dagger for Q. Speaking of Q, he's the one getting charged as it's about to flip it through to him. Yeah, coming through. Mikoto could set up for it, and yeah, he's actually going to stop the charge anyway.
Double blink, you got to go. Savage probably going to look to get involved too.
Smoke as well.
tOfu's in such a good position with this invis. Oh my god, tOfu this game.
MVP by far.
Roger baiting? Can they pull him up 4-0? Let's see.
I don't know, man. Maybe if he continued to stay on that creep wave, there was a small possibility for it. Just using the dead shot to see if anyone was moving forward, and yeah, you're pretty capable of just getting your own farm with the calling as well. So that's the first smoke, ineffective by Talon. Also weren't farming during it all.
It's very interesting as well, the dynamic we're going to see out of these two offlaners. They both kind of play a very similar role, where Dawnbreaker plays away from the team and can sometimes have an advantage of being able to shove the map out. And Spiritbreaker does the exact same thing of being able to connect globally. So I think maybe there's a little bit easier of a time for Dye to, because you also now have kill threat onto Dawn whenever he's doing that.
Yep, and you can see I was talking about those natural Yule Scepter builders. I mentioned the Dark Willow in the draft as a potential for Talon. They haven't ended up going for it, but they're still going the Yule Scepter on the Earthshaker. They realize how big of a threat the Spiritbreaker is going to be. And Spiritbreaker, Ace has recognized that he doesn't have anyone that's building any sort of percent-based damage. So he knows that he can get away with going for something like this heart and be basically unkillable.
Yeah. What a wild hero. Very versatile in regards to the item build. you said, is a very strong hero at the moment as well. We've seen a lot of people, in particular Claps, take over games with this or something. Teams are going to continue to put attention on as we get further into this tournament.
How can you be
look to
allowed
go
to
on
one-shot
tOfu.
Freakers at level 9, man? It's just not right. But they've got the stuff to be able to make a counter initiation happen. dyrachyo is not too far away.
Instant TPs.
One.
Oh, Quinn, that long range stun. Can he blow up Savage?
dyrachyo is still hungry for it, but doesn't look like they'll be able to convert. So waste some TPs, and of course we know that, you know, as soon as I saw that Dawnbreaker picked up, I was considering maybe they go for the silencer, but there's nothing really that's going to disrupt this Solar Guardian coming in. Jabz is the one that's had the biggest benefit of a lot of these aggressive plays.
Quinn, it's going to be blocked from the fissure. This could be a pretty good opportunity. Oh, the Echo Slam, though, just too late. Quinn slides out of trouble.
Try to make better use
The
of
wards
it.
from Talon was a big opportunity to get a kill onto the lane, and nonetheless, you got to use some ultimates, but when you're this far behind, you'll take it. 2 kills and maybe a tower just to slightly open up the map.
Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under
Obviously,
attack.
could have been a lot better. That would have been not even a kill streak from Quinn, but the important thing is he's really starting to get a lot closer
Dire's
towards that
top
Aghanim
tower
Scepter
has
for
fallen.
himself. So much burst damage that you've got, and I mean, you've got great heroes to be playing in front of you as well. Both the Faceless Void and the Spirit Breaker just set up amazingly for this mid laner.
Don't want to bring it up with the item progression out of Mikoto. I do really like this Midas. I mean, I think that's probably the only route you can really go for at this stage.
Hold on, I'm just having a quick look over at Q, making sure he's not going for a Midas
Yeah, no.
again, but this isn't the game for the Shaker, I don't think.
Hey, you reckon? Midas Shaker?
Radiant's middle
This
tower
one?
is under attack.
Seems pretty good, no?
I'm pretty sure. They're really right there to be able to instantly claim this Tormentor as well. They want to make sure that they can get the Demonic Cleanse pretty good against a Jakiro, against the Time Dilation, against the Silence coming through as well from the Muerta.
Can they do it without one person dying?
I think so.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, invulnerability.
That's a big one. He gets it, got Philosopher's Stone, but that would lead it's slowly being clawed back, man. 6 hours of it
Very
still.
slow.
Gaimin Gladiators like scale incredibly well. dyrachyo has BKB, level 15. You almost have Heart on Ace.
It's level 16, man.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about Talon and seeing what they can do to get back in this game, but really, Dire are doing everything right to be able to just cement the lead and put themselves in a commanding position to be able to win that next fight and look for Roche or look for some tier 2 towers.
Yeah. No one hang around to be able to secure the Wisdom Rune at 21 minutes. Love to be able to get that one over to Q, just get him some of those levels so that he's not tempted to go for the Midas once again. But I mean, it is a big comeback that they're having to make happen. 5k net worth lead, so like you said, slowly shrinking, but I'm still not that concerned if I'm a Gaimin Gladiators fan, just with being able to farm multiple waves at once, and securing a couple of bounty runes. And these guys are nerds, right? They'll know the angles of exactly when and where Ace needs to charge to get maximum benefit out of this Charge of Darkness.
I think this is going to be the ultimate test for Savage. His Morphling is very, very farmed, keeping up with dyrachyo, but can he put the boys on his back and get them in position?
This is the perfect item for the Muerta to be able to make a lot of these plays. Love to be able to take out Jabz to be able to start things off similar to a Spectre, just go on them instead, but looks like it'll have to be Ollie.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, don't just go. They can just go.
Radiant's middle
Mikoto.
tower is under attack.
Also get more fish. He's going to stop the charge.
Radiant's middle tower
All right, nicely
has
done by
fallen.
Q. Still ends up costing them a couple, but could have been much worse.
But that is big now. Like, finally, you've been able to get the tower. Probably one of the weaknesses on Dire. Like, 1 point liquid fire. Their objective taking is not the greatest. But this tier 1 gives you so much more access inside Radiant's jungle and really just helping to continue to secure some of the power runes for Quinn. Double damage rune for the Lina. Very close to the Scepter.
Feels like they're wanting to be fighting pretty soon on Talon, I would imagine, right? You've nearly got the Manta style available for the Morphling. You're able to get that Aghanim Shard for the Tiny, and Jabz, I believe, has a BKB coming out, full BKB. So he can really look to be
Radiant's
acting as
top
that
tower
front
is
liner,
under attack.
set up for a lot of this teamfight disruption that's really going to enable this double Blink Dagger from Mikoto and Q to really have a greatest amount of impact.
A pretty good ward that's scouting out multiple members on Die. I think they were just in range to see the smoke.
Yeah, they were indeed.
So everything is at the ready from Dire. tOfu and Ace gonna lead the charge. Oli once again. Be able to pop this. Q will give him some separation. Should still be able to get the kill. Mikoto with the counter over the echo. It's a pretty good combo. Can they blow up Quinn? And they will. That is a great start. Dyrachyo. Can he find the angle for the corner sphere though? Over the right side, the waveform. Savage toying with Gaimin Gladiators. And now the visual on to 2. The perfect start is Mikoto's going to jump over the top of the chain control. Dyrachyo protected for the moment for the BKB, but they can continue to chase him down. Ace is going to charge through from downtown. You might need the corner protecting Dyrachyo. In fact, it won't be required, but Ace in some danger. In fact, it's actually Seleri that is the one in trouble, and Talon somehow, some way, find a incredible team fight. They take 3, and that is all thanks to Oli's positioning.
Ollie's positioning and Q spell casting, that was perfect use out of that early Aghanim Shard, right? You get the Fissure to get the original block off, then you look to follow it up with just even further stuns. Make sure you delay the Shadow Demon's death for as long as possible. He had the Demonic Purge onto them as well, so they didn't really have that same level. And that was the disruption that I'm talking about, right? It allows you to come in with these heroes like the Earthshaker, like the Tiny, and really have that big teamfight impact.
And this got to give them a bit of a pep in their step now. The confidence for Talon. Incredible waveform from Savage to be able to dodge that time walk jump from Dyrachyo when he was looking for the chrono. Just everyone playing the fights perfectly. But you are still not out of that dark territory just yet. Gaimin Gladiators with all the map control can continue to hunt. We are seeing this game slowly be clawed back.
I legitimately don't know how they kill Ace.
Yeah,
it's getting to that point. Maybe later on, if like Tiny gets giga farmed and he has, you know, Daedalus plus the tree volley. Yeah. But I think you still need a spirit vessel on top of that.
I think Daedalus Savage as well. And until then, just have fun dealing with Ace, who is dude stupidly farmed. Yeah. Like, what is his net worth? Are you serious?
The Spirit Breaker thinks that's why I labeled him hero of the tournament.
Probably one of the more farm Spirit Breakers. I mean, I haven't really seen many others, at least that we were covering. I don't know, again, anyone's topping that at the moment. That is a ridiculous net worth that Ace is playing with, though. Dude, the fact that we actually have somewhat of an even game, like, you are getting value out of these Midas. It is stacking up. Mikoto, Echo Saber into the BKB. And this scan as well, like you're able to scout, potentially sniff out this movement down to the bottom. And they are stalling.
I think at 20 minutes, Ace had the highest net worth on Spirit Break in all games since TI5.
Okay. All right, very cool.
8 years. It's been that long. I guess there's more farm on the map. I'd probably say the TI5 one was a little more impressive. But anyway, he is playing a phenomenal game.
These wards from Talon.
Radiant's middle
really good position. I mean, one will get dewarded inside the top jungle from Gladiators. We see they are really starting to huddle up together, though. Not playing as loosely as we saw before. What are some items we're getting out of them? And Seleri is Solar Crest, so they can definitely look for Roshan. You're going to need some kills, though, to be able to find that tOfu with the 8th lens, but of course they are still farming.
I mean, it's not just for the Roshan, right? It's also for the movement speed for the Spirit Breaker, make him deal even more damage. Speaking of SB, he's nearly got the Lincoln Sphere finished up as well, so that's really going to give you a solution to this damn Shadow Demon. So now it's a matter of, well, we're going to need to put some other spells, some priority on other heroes, and getting a lot of that targeted spells off. Sure that the Spirit Breaker gets a little bit of safety. Who's getting charged?
They might get baited. Yeah, Ace gonna stop it instantly. Ooh. They're coming though. It's like they know there's a ward. Sentry already dropped. Ace gonna be able to deal with it. And yeah, they're looking to try and control around Roche. Still a very scary position for Talon to be able to take a fight in this close proximity area.
Quinn get control once again. That's all they really want. They want that close area. We know how effective a Muerta can be. We know how effective a Faceless Void and a Jakiro can be around those real choke points, but And again, I guess you could say the same for Talon.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
To take some of that map
has
control.
fallen.
Net worth lead has shrunk from 8k down to 3, while all of these kill attempts are potentially happening. And well, they're choosing to commit right now. They do not have a scan available though.
Is this the fight you're wanting for Talon? A loss here could give a big opportunity. They got to go soon. This Roche is down to half health.
It's such a big initiation if you're able to get all 3.
They're clumping up for a potential echo. They need the vision. Shadow Team will provide that. Could Mikoto lead the charge as well? Look at them calling. tOfu in a close area could be devastating. They're going to be able to get the jump in. Roche is down. Mikoto gets the ages. It's a great start for Talon. dyrachyo used an early BKB as well. Talon kiting over to the right side. Okay, momentarily. We need to see what dyrachyo can do with his ulti. Is Savage. He's going to charge over the north side. dyrachyo doesn't even get to play this team fight. As Talon now can potentially get some more kills. Mikoto stops the charge. Ace, 4,200 health. But when he has no heroes to play around him, it doesn't matter how long it takes to kill him off. As Talon, somehow they've got the net worth lead. They were down 7,000, but they are back in this game and in a commanding position.
How did they do it, man? I do not know. Ollie was just able to kite out that giga farm Spirit Breaker, so the net worth lead, in all reality, was absolutely nothing because they weren't able to get kills off that initiation. They got a great usage out of the spells early on into the piece so they could break that Lincoln Sphere, and it just enabled that little bit of a delay coming through from Ollie. Now with that, with the Philosopher's Stone as well, I mean, that's not even to mention the Age of Steel as well, which he's still holding on to here on Mikoto. Needed to pop that BKB super early just to survive dyrachyo, so you can't really fault him too much for that, but it really is the fight for 23 Savage, wasn't it?
Dude, the positioning and the spell casting, the in and out for Talon, just everyone playing for each other. It's, you had to play nothing but flawless to get back to this position. And now, this could be a repeat. Previous game, we saw Gladiators, they had the lead. All of a sudden, Talon's the one there. Again, I'm mentioning it a lot at Riyadh. We went the distance in that series with Talon knocking out Gladiators. That could be a repeat as well. Like, how do you settle yourselves now for Dire?
It's a good question, and now Mikoto is going to be doing a good amount of right-click damage as well. I mean, he's got the BKB finished up, he's got an Echo Saber finished, he's got, I believe, a tier 3 neutral item and level 18 to be able to play around with as well. So that is a lot of additional bonus burst damage as well as sustained from the right-clicks coming through, and a lot of instant prioritization towards the Tormentors as well. Sure, it's great for all the reasons that we mentioned, both for Q on his Earthshaker getting it originally. Now Ollie's got that extra demonic cleanse, that extra layer of survivability against a lot of the silences and slows that they have on Gaimin Gladiators. But if you can get away with not having to have Mikoto buy an Aghanim shard, that's really significant. Just giving him that extra little bit of farm so that you can turn into this legitimate second hard carry effectively.
We've spoken a lot about what Talon needed to do to get back into this game. Now the topic needs to flip.
Done it.
What do we look for Gladiators? Like, I suppose in these fights, we should say, how do you start for them? Who is that prime target that needs to go?
To me, it's still Ollie, right? Like, if Ollie is not alive, then Ace's game is freed up so much. You know, once he gets into this Aghanim Scepter, he's going to have that debuff immunity during the Charge of Darkness. He's already got the Octarine core, so he's just going to be charging left, right, center, everywhere. And the only hero that stops it is the Shadow Demon. Ollie's positioning has been pretty good so far, and he's got the Blink Dagger to be able to help with that. But maybe you need to commit, for example, on Quinn with the Flame Cloak to go for a little bit of a wraparound and just burst him with the Laguna Blade.
Very interesting decision as well. We're getting a Wind Waker, dude, from Q. So this is your very expensive luxury item to deal with a Chrono. There could be an argument. Late game Jabz considering something like a Scepter. He's got a Lincoln's currently queued up. We don't really see you buying a Scepter, but hopefully late game you can get lucky with Roche. This is the first real time that we've seen Talon actually entering Dire's side of the map off the back of a smoke.
With the Aegis, it gives you that confidence to be able to make these sorts of plays, maybe thinking that he's a little safe here, dyrachyo on the right-hand side. Goto careful not to pop his smoke on the towers, and ooh, how quick is he on the BKB? Yeah, still pretty satisfied with that though.
They're really split. They're going for their own kill. Jabz is isolated. Gonna be able to blink closer back to the T2 tower. Meanwhile, I mean, there's a straight chrono as well, so everyone else is stuck from being able to join. And dyrachyo just gets a time lock away. Savage wants to jump on forward, but the BKB stops the headshot. Has he got the damage? He does. Waveform to confirm the kill, and Savage is not done just yet. Your high ground will not stop me. The Savage finds a double further to the south. Ace is isolated. We saw prior when he doesn't have any boys to play with. He can be vulnerable. Quinn's gonna TP in, has to jump over the right side as the acro slam Ace. He'll find an opportunity to charge away, but Quinn, he doesn't have the same capability. Tries to fly up to the high ground, but he's gonna be cut down. Just what is going on? Gaimin Gladiators, they are crumbling.
They are indeed. They won't be able to take any towers off the back of it. Ace immediately looking to shove out that mid wave in the bottom lane off the back of that previous gank attempt onto Jabz. He's not really in a position to be able to take tier 2 towers, but this is what we were waiting to see from the SEA crowd. They were really wanting that Morphling from 23 Savage's most comfortable hero by far, and they're even going to yoink away even more of that control. I think the big difference that I'm really seeing from Gaimin Gladiators is that previously they prioritized buying a really early gem, and I feel like Talon have gotten away with a lot of additional vision on the map that they just didn't have prior. There we go. Another tier 2 tower going down right before that that Wisdom Rune is about to spawn as well.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Extra value. tOfu moving forward just to try and remove a lot of that vision. Again, they don't have the Chronosphere though to be able to make these sorts of plays, and looks like they'll be able to still at least get the deny, but they'll get a tier 2 tower, so some more map control for Talon.
It looks like they're just going to go back and try and farm this side of the map as well. Wind Waker, Lincoln's completed. Really, really big items. It's crazy the fact that 23 Savage has somehow usurped Ace in the net worth. Again, we're saying that this Spirit Breaker might be the most farmed in quite some time, but Savage, a Morphling that we do not see often. His best here without a doubt. He had to put the team on the back. He's done that 9, 2, and 3. You could not have asked for a better performance from him, and he's in a position to get them over the finish line and put themselves in the upper bracket.
He was the only one left alone, pretty much, at the start of all of that. And, well, there's little silver linings coming through from Gaimin Gladiators, right? You've got Quinn, who's level 20 now. Big damage buff coming through for this Magic Lina. 11% spell amplification coming through. I believe Ace has the Shadow Blade completed, so it's another thing that's just going to enable to...
They see tOfu.
Shows himself, yeah.
Simultaneous jumps to the right and left. Both supports blown up from 4 to 0. They're not messing around, Talon. They're looking for more as well. But under the cover of the Shadow Blade, Ace is going to charge into the middle as well. You still have the Chronosphere. Savage with the Replicate's going to be able to prevent dyrachyo. They split away. dyrachyo doesn't have a good opportunity for his ultimate. Will finally use it, but it's a wasted chrono. He'll get no value out of it. And now Mikoto can hum. tOfu stuck in no man's land. As Talon just have their number. Gladiators cannot take these fights anymore.
Man, I was watching 23 that entire time. He's using those zoomer reflexes to perfection. He was still like full Agimorph, and until he sees the Faithless Void actually use the animation of the Chronosphere, he stays there. He stays a legitimate threat. As soon as he starts to do the animation, that's when he starts morphing, and even the Spirit Vessel isn't enough to be able to get the full effectiveness out of it. At least they get the Courier, but it's a full lane of Rax gone, and potentially 2.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They will look for the hold, of course. Charging. They're going to try and take a fight 3v5s. You got the buyback out of Quinn. Ace might get blown up with the crit, so they've got to be cautious. A lot of damage onto the Morphling. Savage is in some danger. Finds the waveform out of the base, and what's the call from Talon? He looks to retreat. Maybe set a formation up. They won't even double back. They're happy with that. Somehow, they'll find a way to retreat without losing anyone.
You're over the moon about this. I mean, the tier 3 tower is basically dead as well. And a buyback being expended from Quinn means it's going to be so much longer. We talked about that big power spike coming from the level 20. It's really the E-Blade that he was waiting for, both for safety, if you ever do get caught by, you know, the right-clicking 23 Savage, but also just for your own burst potential. And now it's going to be so much later that it comes online.
Is Observer's still up down bottom, which they killed Jabz with prior. And they are starting
respawn. Jabz is a lot tankier as well. He's 23 as the KB as well.
They don't have the chrono to stop those TPs, which you saw prior.
Oh,
the star break. Oh my god. That timing.
Oh, instant use of the voice line.
Sometimes it is just your lucky day.
Just can't wait for him to get to the neutral camp, I guess.
And this is going to give Talon now an opportunity to set up around this top side. Some jump. Chrono still on cooldown for another 5 seconds. tOfu gets blown up without remorse. Dyrachyo is going to try and put a little bit of damage into Mikoto. Charge from the other side of the map as well. Ace going to try and deal with Ollie. Once again, 23 Savage looking to try and play around with the Spirit Breaker replicate. Ace is in some danger with the Purge. Great reaction out of the BKB from the Morphling, and again, dyrachyo will have 0 damage inside the bubble. It is an all-out retreat. They've got to cut their losses. Quinn will juke up to the north. TP's still down for a couple of seconds. Looks like he'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be able to get rid of this vision. That's 2 observer wards that they've removed now. Quinn, this would be a dieback.
Dude.
Who ended up going down, and he just ends up getting away. Or does he? Gonna hunt for a little bit more. Again, you've got that invisibility on the Tiny from the Silver Edge, but they're just going to be looking to play around that Roshan, one would assume. Maybe they think they're confident enough to be able to go up onto this high ground. It goes away from the steady, composed Talon that we know. Even looking to try and find a quick pick off onto dyrachyo here. They've got the Solar Guardian available. What a pick this would be.
Dire's top tower is under
Hunting.
attack.
Oh, they're even TPing into the outpost. They look to find it. Doesn't look like they'll be able to do so. What a comeback.
Oh my god, just saw the banishment again. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Dude, Ollie's SD. The value that you are getting out of this hero. The purges, the banishments. This is one of the better supports. If you're able to get net worth, you can create so much chaos in these late game fights. He has to go. There is probably no other more valuable member out of Talon that needs to be killed first.
I've been stating it like a broken record, man, but they just can't do it, man. His positioning is just way too good. He's got tanky heroes to be able to play in front of him, so he can afford to be sitting that far back. And we saw there Quinn trying to go for that kill attempt, but it just took him way too long. That the team fight was basically done by that stage. 23 Savage had done all the jobs that he could have possibly wanted, just taking out multiple heroes.
What happens if we get one good chrono out of dyrachyo? Just one. 1 to 2, potentially 3. Still down 19,000 gold, maybe 4, who knows, maybe all 5, but let's just say 2. One good chrono with a Macropie, with Lena on the outside, even down 19k gold. Is that all they need from Dio?
I don't think that's all they need. I think they need like that into a Roshan that ends up giving them a really highly valuable thing like an Aghanim Scepter or a Refresher, right? Like imagine having 2 Chronospheres, for example, if they're able to secure top Roshan after this one goes down.
They will smoke up. It's gonna be too late though.
And Mikoto is level 25 as well. He's got the Aghanim Shard as well, so I was talking about that threat of being a legitimate right-clicker. Well, Mikoto's reached that point.
Smoke on smoke.
Harpoon as well. Doesn't want to let them get away, particularly Quinn. He's been pretty sneaky with that line.
Savage. See how True Shift to be able to work with. Not going to be able to blow him up for 40 zeros. Ace spies the Shadow Demon, but doesn't commit with the charge.
Got the perk.
Going to be cautious. They group up instantly. The split away once again. dyrachyo doesn't find an opportunity for the corner, but everyone is isolated. Mikoto's away from the boys. They're going to need to find some way to protect him in the corner. This time will clip 2 heroes, and that gives them the opportunity to kill off Jabz as well. Savage against the world. Can he do it with the instant buybacks? Solar Guardian back into the middle. Savage, of course, has that second life. Down to the southern side though, Ace gets some time to charge away, but the fissure stops him from escaping. dyrachyo gets blown up as well, and now Quinn looking like it might be a dieback, finds the blink at the last second. Gaimin Gladiators not done. A Seleri will also be killed off inside the river as up the high ground Savage goes.
He knows that there's no backdoor protection. He knows that you're going to need to use a buyback for this, otherwise you're losing your entire base. But with no Chronosphere to be able to play around, can they 100 to 0 him?
I don't think you can. 3,500 health, and you got the Wind Waker out of Q, and now Quinn as well. Jumped on the backline from Mikoto, pushed into the double fissure. Quinn's down for over 2 minutes, and now the building's under siege. No chrono for the defense. They can go for the end if they want. Talon knocking one of the favorites down to to start in the lower bracket.
Radiant's top tower is under
More
attack.
buybacks being used. They don't want to give this one up without a fight. This is starting in that lower bracket. A single series enough to be able to wipe you out.
Radiant's top
They would
tower.
love to be able to
Dyrachyo, Savage, refresher used for the double waveform. That
They still can't
is
get away.
all she wrote. Talon and Savage, take a freaking bow. What a comeback performance from the Southeast Asian boys. They are never out of any game.
And they are into the upper bracket as well. Can the real 23 Savage please stand up, because he was the reason that Talon were able to get back into this game and then get across the line. What a way to be able to finish off this last day of day one of the playoffs.
What a performance, and I want to see the reaction.